Welcome to Sythis, Harvest Moon's Hand. As far as our opening hand goes, yeah, I'm digging this. We've got it. We've got a couple different enchantments, and we have an Enchantress card draw piece right in the command zone. So yes, we will keep on this one. We've got 3 lands. The only thing that would make this better is if we had some fast mana, not mana. If we had some fast mana. Or we had some sort of ramp, but yeah, having a couple different enchantments and having a little bit of a lockdown piece in Ghostly Prison. We will certainly take that. And we're playing against Negan, The Walking Dead. All right, so let's go and lead off with Arctic Tree Line, and then anything else is going to pass the turn over to our opponent. We're playing Sythis, Harvest Moon's Hand. Whenever you cast an enchantment spell, you gain 1 life and you draw a card. Playing against Negan, the Cold-Blooded. We'll do that in just a second, and let's get the party started. Why not? Let's get our Enchantress card draw piece down. That's going to be really important. So let's go for Sythis. Let's get her down, and then, or get them down, and then anything else is going to pass the turn. Playing against Negan, the Cold-Blooded. So this is, if you don't know, this is the Walking Dead Secret Lair series. And so whenever Negan enters the battlefield, you and target opponent each secretly choose a creature that player controls. Then those choices are revealed. That player sacrifices those creatures. Whenever an opponent sacrifices a creature, you create a treasure token. So we'll see what sort of fun stuff we got. We will definitely return Sythis back to the command zone, and it's really nice having a commander that costs 2, because it's not the end of the world on something like that. Let's go and lead off with Plains, and I guess at this point, we don't really worry about counter spells. Do we just want to kind of roll out Ghostly Prison while we can, and that'll put us into Conviction for next turn potentially? Yeah, let's do that. So let's get Ghostly Prison down, and then anything else pass the turn to our opponent. So we did cover both commanders. Let's give a quick shout out to our sponsors, TCG Player. If you go to bit.ly/JoltMTG, that will apply my affiliate link. That'll allow you to get some cards and help support the channel at the same time. So if you're looking to build any of the new modern Horizon commanders, hey, much obliged if you use that. I would certainly appreciate it. And let's go for the spot removal test again. Why not? Let's have some fun. Let's get Sythis back out there. And if they've got spot removal, they've got it. We'll get Sythis back down. And anything else, pass the turn. Let's give a quick shout out to MTGOTraders Inc. Gaming. Also, I started a Patreon if you'd like to directly support cool content like this. But if you're keeping score at home, it is officially free time. So let's have some fun. And then somebody's watching the game and said they enjoy my videos. So I was just saying hi to both, our opponent and and the person that's watching the game. So there we go. But yes, with Sythis, what are we doing? There's nothing too crazy in here. Really, the only thing that kind of makes this deck kind of have some sort of win condition is we're really using the Opalescence, I think, and let's see. So yes, we'll return Sythis back to the command zone. So it's going to put it back up to 6. And I think what we'll end up doing on this one is making Negan a little insect token. I think that's a good way to take care of Negan. I kind of like that. So let's make the land drop for the turn. Let's go for... We can set this up to where we go 1, 2, 3. That'll tap down for 2. That'll be extra white. Yeah, I think at this point we'll just end up going Darksteel Mutation. Yeah, I kind of like that. That'd be a good way to do that. Or what we can do is let's go and take care of Negan. I like that. We're going to get rid of Negan. All right, so we're going to put Darksteel Mutation onto Negan. We do not have the land drop to make for the turn, so what we're going to still end up doing is just putting Overgrowth onto this forest. We are missing out on a card draw, but one of the good things about Enchantress is that once we do get it down and we get that... those enchantments cast, we will be able to kind of draw into some other stuff. So we got Negan taken care of, at least for the moment right now. Now, if we do untap with a Heroic Intervention, and they don't get rid of Darksteel Mutation, that's really going to help out, because with Heroic Intervention, we're going to be able to protect all of our pieces. So, and that'll really make sure that Negan kind of stays over there with his little bat. So, and also with the Secret Lair stuff, this is actually the first time I'm playing against one of the Walking Dead Secret Lairs. It is odd having a out-of-universe character, but hey, it's a Magic card, and if our opponent enjoys playing it, they enjoy playing it. So that's kind of my take on that. I know I never really... Not that anybody ever asked for my opinion on it, but yeah, it is one of those things that it is kind of weird having out-of-universe characters without going through the... Well, actually, do we want to... I think at this point, So we're looking at another piece of spot removal potentially. I'd really like to set up a Heroic Intervention protect Sythis. I think that might be important. Let's do this. Let's get Destiny Spinner down. I think that'll work out. So let's go Destiny Spinner first. We'll get Destiny Spinner down, and then that way we can, because we're looking at 1, 2, 3. We've got 3 different enchantments, or actually 4 different enchantments. So if we wanted to go for the 1, 2, 3, 4 on the plains, but they're just going to block. Yeah, so we'll just pass on this one. So anything else, kick it back over there. But yeah, with The Walking Dead, you know, it's definitely one of those. I feel like Magic is a very unique game in itself, that it doesn't need to explore other intellectual property, stuff like that. It is cool having stuff mixed in, but I'm very much of the mindset of, you know, if it's just a skin for a current card, that's very neat. But just direct release, it's just kind of weird. You know, we're over here playing Commander, and there's Negan from The Walking Dead. So other than that, hey, I don't want to hate on our opponent for playing Negan, and I'm definitely not doing that. It's just one of those, it kind of breaks the, what word am I looking for? It just kind of breaks the atmosphere, if that makes sense. I don't know. But anyway, that's enough about that. Let's talk about Sythis. So as far as this deck goes, this is your basic Enchantress deck. You know, we've got tons of enchantments in here, and the name of the game is just to get into a ton of card draw. That's where we're going to have some fun. So let's see if we hit and land. All right, we do not. So we run into Sylvan Library, and once again, so we're looking at Sythis for 6, and that's going to be 1, 2, 3... 4, 5, 6. Yeah, we're still going to be 1 away. I think at this point we just end up going Sylvan Library. That way we can hopefully dig into a land for next turn, because I really want to roll Sythis out and make sure that we do have some sort of protection for Sythis, because we've got some good stuff. You know, one of the cool things about running Enchantress is if you have something like Conviction, this is a great way to get that repeated card draw. So we get Conviction down onto one of our creatures. Then for 1 white mana, we can return it to our hand. And so that's kind of, and we're also running 2 more style effects like conviction in here. There's Whip Silk, and then there is Flickering Ward, which those really do allow us to, you know, let's say we get into a little bit of a later part of the game, and we're not really getting a lot of card advantage, you know, simply just paying like, you know, 3 mana to cash in a card draw with Sythis on the battlefield, different things like that. That really does help us out. So, all right, so our opponent's going to be at bay right now, and that is going to be a Scattered Grove. So let's go and go for Sylvan Library. We will definitely use that ability. Digging for, well, Nature's Lore does help. So I think at this point, do we want to pay 2 on this? Just to kind of dig as far as it... Well, actually, we can put Dryad back on top. Oh, no, that'll be on top of our library. You can play an additional land. So we want to make the land drop. So let's actually put Dryad back on top of our library, and we're going to pay 4 to keep in our hand. All right, so we're going to click OK, because that really does help us out, because that's going to be the land drop for the turn. Let's go and play Scattered Groves. It's going to be Nature's Lore, and then that way we can grab a forest, put that onto the battlefield, still be online for Heroic Intervention. Let's go ahead and grab a Canopy Vista. That way, I think we're okay on the basics, but we'll just go ahead and grab that. And then that's going to come into play, and then that's going to be 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I still want to hold up Heroic Intervention, because, you know, if our opponent's going to build up an army and start swinging in, we want to be able to just kind of hold back. And one of the good things about holding Field of the Dead, holding those zombies at bay, is we've got a Destiny Spinner activation too that we can go for. So for 4 mana, target land you control becomes an XX elemental creature with trample and haste, where X is the number of enchantments you control. It's still a land. So if they do decide to get frisky with the zombies, we can get that Destiny Spinner activation. And that's another good thing when you're playing an Enchantress deck like this, is just having something to kind of mana sink and just get that extra value from all the enchantments that you have on the battlefield. So, but next turn, we are looking at going Sythis. We do have the mana to go for Heroic Intervention, which is definitely going to help us out. And then hopefully with that, we'll find a way to kind of deal with a lot of these creatures. Now, we do have a couple different board wipes in here. So if we want to reset the tone for our board state, we can dig into a board wipe and then do Heroic Intervention in response to that. So that way we can kind of clean out the zombies and have some fun with that. I think that'll work out. Okay, so let's see. And that's going to be Sphere of Safety, and it's going to be 2 more off of Sylvan Library. So yes, we'll definitely use that ability. And that's going to be Utopia Sprawl, and I think we're actually okay with both. So let's go ahead and pay 4 to keep, 4 to keep. Let's make the land drop for the turn. Let's get Sythis onto the battlefield. And then that still keeps us open on Heroic Intervention. Let's go Utopia Sprawl on this forest. Ooh, there we go. We are definitely setting ourselves up. So let's go and tap down white for Utopia Sprawl. And with Heroic Intervention still available, let's tap down. Let's go for Seal of Primordium. And this is where the Enchantress takes off. All right, so let's get Seal of Primordium down. And we also have Spear of Safety, too, which is going to be a great way to keep those zombies away. And then Eidolon of Blossoms. Yeah, I think anything else, we're just going to go ahead and pass the turn right now. So our opponent will be able to swing in with 6 zombies. We're only down to 30 right now, which is definitely manageable for us. And then, yeah, we'll kick it back over there. So probably the high priority right now would be going for Privileged Position, because once we do get that down, and let's say that we get something like Sterling Grove down, we basically kind of have like a soft lock to where our opponent can't target our Enchantress pieces, and it allows us to really just build up our board state. One of the things that with this deck, we're not super stacks heavy. Pretty much Sphere of Safety and Ghostly Prison are the only kind of stack style effects that we do have in here. If you're thinking about building Sythis, you can definitely build kind of mono white control with enchantments and different things like that. All right, it's going to be Toxic Deluge, which off of Yawgmoth's Will. Yeah. That'll get it on that one. So let's see what they end up going for. The only downside is with Toxic Deluge, they're going to be able to go -1 to get rid of the entire board state. Or not board state. They're at least going to be able to go -1 on Negan, and that's going to return Negan back to the command zone. That way they can still get that going. So let's see what they end up tapping out for. Definitely going to be Toxic Deluge. It's going to clear Sythis out. But we're at the point now where we've got more than enough mana to kind of to recast Sythis. I think that'll be 8 total mana this time, which is a very good feeling. All right, so we've got Toxic Deluge. Unfortunately, Heroic Intervention doesn't do anything on that, so it's going to clear the board out. We'll definitely return that to the command zone. And then they're stuck on 3 mana, or not stuck on 3 mana. They've got at least 4 mana with the treasure token. So we'll see if they have a follow-up play or anything like that. But I feel like we're in a pretty good spot right now. Especially once we get Sphere of Safety down, it's going to be really hard for our opponent. In fact, next turn, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We might just end up going Privileged Position and Sphere of Safety, and because that's going to be really hard for our opponent to deal with that. So this is a new card for Modern Horizons. Exile it, put a Void counter on it. So that's going to be Void Walker. Yeah, if we can run into a board, not that we're running a graveyard-based stack. We're not running a lot of mass reanimation on enchantments, but, I am a graveyard player at heart, so making sure that we have nothing that... Getting rid of something that stops our graveyard from happening is definitely something that I enjoy. So, all right, so let's go and dig a little bit deeper on the Sylvan Library. So we do draw into Aura of Silence, so we'll definitely use that ability. That's going to be Wild Growth and Enchantress. There we go. So now we can kind of skip the Enchantress part, and I think we're going to pay 8 on this one. I like that. Pay 4 to keep in hand, pay 4 to keep in hand. That's going to drop us down to 22. Oh, yeah. This is some good magic right here. Let's tap down. Let's get Enchantress down. Let's go for Privileged Position. Song of the Dryads. And that will turn Voidwalker into... And I think what we may end up doing is going Voidwalker... Song of the Dryads on Voidwalker. We could go for Negan if we wanted to. We're going to look at Negan next turn anyway. And I don't want our opponent being able to cast any of this taxing stuff. So let's just go and cash in a card draw right now. So let's go and go card draw with Enchantress. Definitely use that ability. That's going to be Sanctum Weaver. And that's going to get rid of Voidwalker. And then anything else past the turn. So we did get rid of Voidwalker. We do have a lot of key stuff in here. If we go for... Opalescence, I think, and we do have Starfield of Nyx. That's going to turn all of our enchantments into creatures. So that's kind of what we're digging into right now. So if our opponent were able to somehow get rid of Ghostly Prison or Sphere of Safety and then recast it with Voidwalker, that wouldn't be that good for us. I mean, we do have at least Seal of Primordium to deal with it. We do have to discard down to hand size. So I think at this point... Still want to hold on to this. We've got a couple different... I do like Sanctum Weaver out there. It's going to get hit with something eventually, but I think what we'll end up doing is dropping Aura of Silence, because our opponent's got more than enough mana. We've got Seal of Primordium out there, and if we're going to be doing any sort of Enchantress card draw for next turn, that's going to be Wild Growth, Whip Silk, and then Sanctum Weaver. So... And that's another good thing. If you've never built Enchantress, one of the key things that you need, as you can tell, is having an Enchantress card draw piece just on the battlefield. And so the fact that you do have a Enchantress card draw piece out of the command zone and you get life gain, hey, that is a That is a very good commander right there. And then that's the good thing about Sythis is that it's just an enabler. It's going to enable you to do whatever you want. You know, if you want to go wild with something like Starfield of Nyx, you know, that's what we're kind of digging towards. And let's secretly choose a creature. And we're going to secretly choose Enchantress. Now, it looks like our opponent secretly chose Enchantress too. So that's going to get rid of that. And once we drop down Sphere of Safety, I think we'll be in a pretty good spot. Because I think at this point, if we're going to try to win this out, we need to draw into... one of our Enchantress pieces. That'll really kind of help us out. So, excuse me, not our Enchantress pieces, but one of our not reanimate. Well, basically, if you don't know, with Starfield of Nyx and Opulence, it turns all of your enchantments into, I'm pretty sure it's just basically converted mana cost of your enchantment. It turns into, you know, like Spear of Safety. That would be a 5/5 creature. And so just being able to get your enchantments to kind of swing up, start swinging in, doing some combat damage. It's a pretty cool feeling. So, all right, so we're going to see 2 come down for Zombie. And if we can get our opponent to be paying the Ghostly Prison tax, hey, we will certainly take it. But I think at this point, since we did lose Enchantress and we're looking at a really high converted mana cost right now for our own commander, what we're probably going to be doing is just trying to use Sylvan Library as much as we can to find one of our win conditions. So that'll really work out. So let's see what we draw into. Ooh, there we go. Cathar's Crusade. And that is going to be Sylvan Library. You definitely use that ability. And that's going to be Refuge. And that's going to be Ancient Tomb. And that's going to drop us down to 12 if we dig just even that much deeper. Because we still have Eidolon of Blossoms. Yeah, let's go one more go. We're going to be digging on this one pretty far. So let's drop in Ancient Tomb. Let's drop in Eidolon of Blossoms. That's going to be Overgrowth. So we're going to get down Eidolon of Blossoms. Let's go for Sphere of Safety. That's going to be a card draw once Eidolon enters the battlefield. Temple of Plenty. Let's go for Sphere of Safety. That's going to be an additional card draw off of Eidolon. We're still going to end up running into a few more lands. Let's do this. So let's go Wild Growth on Arctic Tree Line. That's going to be one more card draw, and that's going to be an extra mana for us. Because we still want to leave up Heroic. Oh, and then we run into Swords to Plowshare. Okay, that is perfect. All right, so anything else? Let's go ahead and pass the turn. So we do have Temple of Plenty. We have Blossoming Sands. That's going to be some life gain. We are sitting at 12, so we don't really want to dig too much further with Seal of Primordium. Or excuse me, Sylvan Library. So what we're probably going to end up doing is dumping Temple of Plenty. That way we just have some life gain, and then we can redeploy out for next turn. All right, so opponent's going to go for an Arid Mesa Crack at the end of the turn. And then our opponent's going to go for Enlightened Tutor. So search your library for an artifact or enchantment card, reveal it, and then put that card on top. So we'll see what this reveal is off of Enlightened Tutor. And that's going to be Overwhelming Splendor. So let's get the reveal zone popped up and see what that card was. So it's going to be Overwhelming... Uh-oh. All right, so... creatures enchanted player control... Permanents you control gain hexproof. All right, so that's not going to stop us. That's going to be lose all abilities, become 1/1s. Enchanted player can't activate abilities that aren't mana abilities or loyalty abilities. Okay. All right, so that is, yeah, let's get that popped down. Okay. All right, so there's nothing we can really do about that because we do have... Let's discard down. Let's get rid of Temple of Plenty, and let's get rid of Blossoming Sands because we'll have Refuge to be the life gain. All right, so there we go. So we've got Overwhelming Splendor, which I'm curious to see how that's going to interact with layers. I don't know. We'll see. All right, so opponent's going to go for Reanimate on Enchantress, which they can certainly go for that, and we may end up going for Swords to Plow. Well, it's going to be whenever you cast, so we're not going to be able to have priority to stop that card draw. So opponent's going to go for Overwhelming Splendor. The only good thing is we've got a really good lock with Sphere of Safety. X is the number of enchantments we control. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So they're going to have to pay a ton of mana to stop this. So it's going to be a card draw from Enchantress. And I don't think they have a ton of more enchantments in there, so we just may end up holding on to Swords to Plowshare at this point right now. Overwhelming Splendor is not something that we want to see, but, you know, having a Sphere of Safety out there definitely kind of makes it a little bit easier for us, and then hopefully we can draw into... Yeah, I don't know how the layering... I think the layering would go over Overwhelming Splendor. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what Magic Online does. But yeah, at this point, we'll definitely be I don't know how aggressive we'll be with Sylvan Library, but we'll definitely try our best to try to find some sort of win condition at this point right now. So let's see what else they're tapping for. Let's make sure that we can't activate Seal of Primordium. I'm pretty sure that interaction works. So, and that's going to be Guardian coming down. Let's see who they decide to bounce with this. So that's going to be Guardian bouncing Negan, I would assume, to get rid of Eidolon of Blossoms, which is just a 1/1 creature. And if they're going to do that, then we'll definitely let that go through. That's going to be, that's going to be Voidwalker. Okay, so that's going to get rid of Song of the Dryad. And that's going to be Guardian. I guess we could leave up Swords of Plowshare to get rid of Feldwell Guardian, just in case they have some sort of combo with it. But I'm not super worried about some sort of infinite combat step, because it's going to be super hard for them to do anything with that. I still kind of like, especially them having our Enchantress piece out there. Let's go and go Swords to Plowshare on this. We just want to get rid of that creature out there. That way they just don't start to cash in card advantage against us. So, all right, there we go. All right, so see what we draw into for the turn. Let's get the Sylvan Library trigger going. That's going to be Soul Ring in that. So we don't want to dig, so let's go and go. Yeah, they're going to have to pay a really big chunk of mana. So that's going to be us going down. We're looking at a burn spell. Yeah, that's going to drop us down to 8. That drops us down to 4. Yeah, we're trying to dig as far as we can. All right, so that's going to drop us down to 4. Let's have some fun. So let's drop in, let's go Forest. And even if we get Sythis on the battlefield, it's simply just going to be a 1/1. So what we're trying to do right now is just kind of build up a board state. So let's go 1, 2, 3. And let's go for Sanctum Weaver, which we would have a ton of mana off of Sanctum Weaver, but let's go and get these +1 counters going. And then we have no other creature that we can tap out for. Let's double check. That's going to be 8. No, we need to tap down. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Do we have enough to get our creature out there without tapping down Ancient Tomb? And that's going to be 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so what we're going to do is we're just going to hold off on that. And we do have 1 green mana open. And I guess we could technically go for Whip Silk if we wanted to, which I guess there's not really any reason to do for that. So let's just go and pass the turn. And then, yeah, anything else past the turn. So we're kind of in a weird spot right now. We've dug as far as we can with Sylvan Library. If we can find the Starfield of Nyx, or if we can find Opulence, that'll definitely allow us to. And if I'm pronouncing that wrong, I do apologize. I just added to the deck and I forgot to I think that's how you say it. So if I'm getting you triggered a little bit because I keep saying it wrong, I do apologize. But that's how I'm trying to remember it. So, but at least next turn, yeah, because we'll see how they want to swing in. But that's at least having some 2/2s out there. And, you know, as we start dropping in a few more creatures, then that's really going to help us out. So let's see how much they can, with Sphere of Safety and Ghostly Prison. I don't think they're locked out of the game from swinging in, but they're going to have to tap down a ton of mana, because that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's going to be 11. That's going to be 13 total mana. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11. Yeah, I don't even think they have enough mana to pay for Ghostly Prison. Yeah, they don't. So the only thing that we can't do is we can't pay for Sylvan Library next turn, because then that'll just be a KO. But if our opponent's got a burn spell, they've got it. But, all right, that's going to be Kiki Jiki. And yeah, even if they go Kiki Jiki with Feldwell Guardian, that will be infinite, but they're just not going to have the mana. I was holding up on, because they're doing this in their second main phase. Yeah, that was the reason why I was holding on to Swords to Plowshare earlier with Feldwell Guardian, is, you know, it does go infinite with an enter the battlefield creature. But then we also got to the point to where even if they go infinite. Okay, so that's going to be a Negan trigger. And I would assume that they're probably going to target Weaver. So we'll pick that one. All right. So that worked out. That's going to be a treasure token. But yeah, with them not being able to pay the 13 mana, and as long as we just keep getting enchantments out there, we'll be in a pretty good spot. So, and we can also end up going to Conviction and Whip Silk on our opponent's creatures, because that'll allow us to get the commander tax going. All right, so this can be Sylvan Library. We're definitely going to dig. Yes, we'll use that ability, but we're going to put stuff back on top because we don't want to lose. It's not going to be fun. All right, so let's go and put, do not want to click the pay for life. So let's put, because we want to get some creatures down and get those +1 counters. I think that'll work out. So let's put this on top of our library. And then let's put a Dryad on top of our library 2. There we go. All right, so we've got Mason Enchantress in the hand. Let's make the land drop for the turn. This is going to be a life gain. That way, if we accidentally click on the Sylvan Library, we'll be in a good spot. Let's get Mason Enchantress down. That's going to be a +1 counter that we can go for. And then we should be able to get Sythis down, I think. All right, so we're going to get Sythis entering the battlefield. It's still just going to be a 1/1, but at least it's going to be an additional +1 counter. It's going to give us a 4/4. And then we've got Whip Silk that we can go for. Let's go ahead and put Whip Silk onto Enchantress. That way we can really kind of buff it up a little bit. Okay, and then I guess anything else. Yeah, because if we end up going for these convictions and different things like that, they might be able to... they might get that bonus from Starfield. I don't know how that actually interacts with them. So anything else, we're going past the turn. So now that we're kind of getting into a little bit of a stalemate part of the game, I'm going to let our opponent kind of do their thing, and then I'll jump in for commentary if something kind of, something different happens. And so, yeah, let's get another enchantment count. So we've got 1, 2, 3. That's going to be 4, 5. That's going to be 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So, all right, so the opponent's going to go for Kiki Jiki on Feld War. We'll see what they end up going for. If they're still going to just end up doing the copy of Negan, then, you know, hey, that's perfectly fine. And let's go and choose Eidolon because that's going to be a 4/4. All right, so there we go. So we match up on that one. That's going to be a treasure token. Still sitting at a 2/2 and a 3/3 out there. And if they do have any sort of destroy all enchantments or something like that with the Heroic Intervention, that's going to be at least a counterspell to that in a roundabout way. So, all right, so opponent's going to go for Villas. And that is, whenever you lose life, draw that many cards. All right, so now this is this is getting very interesting. So let's go and always yield to that and always yield to this trigger. And, you know, if they want to keep just going for these activations and picking apart our creatures, as long as we just keep the enchantment count above their mana count, because it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. As long as we can keep that up, we're definitely in a good spot. Because if they can get to the point to where they can stop us from having enough Spear of Safety activations, or at least having that payment, because Villas is just going to be a one-shot KO on that one. So it's going to be an extra zombie. All right, so let's see what our Sylvan Library brainstorm. We know Dryad is on top, so we do draw into that. Let's see if yes, we'll definitely use that ability. Set Champion and then Thran Dynamo. Okay, so we'll go ahead and put Thran Dynamo back on top. And we're almost at the point now to where if they get the treasure tokens going, do we want to start deploying creatures out at this point? Let's go and put Set Champion back on top. That's going to be Dryad. So we are looking at, let's go Conviction on one of the zombies. That way we can just get that Enchantress piece going. I kind of like that because at this point, we just need to get something moving. So let's go Conviction on the zombie. And let's make the land drop for the turn. That's going to be Razor Verge. And yeah, if they just keep him, if they end up going for the Negan line of play, we just keep giving them treasure tokens. So yeah, I think at this point we're just going to hold off on getting these creatures down. So anything else, let's go and pass it. All right, so our opponent's going to go Vampiric Tutor to put something on top of their library. So I'm curious to see what this is going to be. Let's get this popped out. We'll see what they end up casting it. The only downside is I wish our opponent had a Mana Crypt out there, because if they had a Mana Crypt, that would definitely make this game interesting. So they did go Vampiric Tutor, and they did go for a Villas activation. Target creature gets -1/-1. I don't know who they targeted, but yeah, with that ability. So let's see what they drew into. If it's something like Austere Command, or Destroy All Enchantment, something like that. I can't wait to pop this Heroic Intervention. And we'll do. Well, I will tap down Heroic Intervention so quick too. So, so let's see what this is. All right, so we're gonna go Heroic Intervention on Ruinous Ultimatum. This is one of those. Just having this against that is a they're probably gonna be able to find something else that blows the board up. But if it'll still buy us another turn, we'll certainly take it. All right, so we do end up dodging the Ruinous Ultimatum. That does cut them down on mana. And we'll see what we can rip into. We need a fetch land would just be absolutely wonderful. That way we can get a fresh look at the top part of our library. If you're keeping a score at home, it's not looking good because it's only a matter of time with Villas out there being able to swing in. But if we're going to make our opponent earn the win, we're definitely going to make it happen. So you can definitely see with an Enchantress build like this, you know, we have gotten to the late game. It is turn 15. You know, this isn't a heavy stacks deck, but simply just rolling out a Sphere of Safety in addition to some card draw and dropping in a Ghostly Prison. I mean, that's enough to kind of, you know, our opponent's got the infinite combo with Kiki Jiki and Guardian, and they're not going to be able to get, you know, you still got to pay the tax to swing in to attack. So, pretty cool feeling. All right, so let's see if our opponent's got anything else. If not, they're going to pass it back over to us and keep our fingers crossed for some sort of card advantage or some sort of win condition. So let's see. We draw into Set Champion, and oh, did we double click on Sylvan Library? Yes, we'll definitely use that ability. Fresh Look, Seal of Cleansing, which unfortunately is not going to stop Overwhelming Splendor. And so let's, number of enchantments you control, let's put Thran Dynamo back on top. Let's go and put Set Champion back on top. Let's go for Seal of Cleansing, and we can tap down Wild Growth. Utopia Sprawl, there we go. All right, so we'll tap that down. Let's go Seal of Cleansing. That's going to pump up our enchantment pieces. And then anything else? We could go Dryad, which will be another enchantment out there. Yeah, I think we're okay with that. Let's do that. That's going to be 1, 2, and actually we'll double tap on that one. Let's go Overgrowth. Let's get Dryad down. Just really trying to make sure that they just have no mana available to swing in. So it's going to be an extra +1 counter. All right, our opponent's going to go Kiki Jiki activation on Guardian. Man, this is... This is just a very, very interesting game. All right, so this is going to be Guardian. That's going to be Negan trigger. I assume our opponent's going to pick an actual commander. All right, so we're going to return Sythis back to the command zone. Our opponent actually did end up choosing Dryad on that one. So I'd even thought about picking Dryad, like our opponent's going to try to go for the 2-for-1. But hey, they got it on that one. So it's going to be a couple more treasure tokens. I don't know how many... We'll pass the turn. So we've got 1, 2 enchantments over there. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's going to be 10. That's going to be 11, and that's going to be 12. So that's going to be 14. Should be looking at 14 total mana for them to be able to swing in, and they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, they've got enough mana to pay for one creature to swing in. So let's see what's going to happen. They might be able to close it out this game. Man, if we hit like a Starfield of Nyx or something, it is hard to keep up with the Field of the Dead, to be perfectly honest, with all these zombies out there. But you can definitely see what we're trying to do in a deck like this is, you know, use something like Sphere of Safety and Ghostly Prison to kind of slow roll our opponent, make sure they can't swing in, give us enough time to dig a little bit deeper into our library. But, yeah, we got Villa swinging in. Let's see. I think they've got the mana on this. And we'll definitely kind of draw through our library to see where those the Starfield was, because that would have been a pretty nice feeling. Because with Starfield of Nyx, it turns all of our enchantments into creatures, but it also allows us to start bringing stuff back out of the graveyard, too, which is a really good feeling. All right, so it looks like our opponent's going to pay for Villas. There we go. They're going to be able to get it on this one. It was only a matter of time before they got it. So definitely a good game to our opponent. All right, so they're going to swing in for 8. That's going to drop us down to -3. Sorry we didn't get the win condition going from the deck. We tried to be aggressive with Sylvan Library. We tried to dig a little bit deeper into our library. You can see how many times we tried to get the Enchantress option going. I want to find it. There. Oh! Not that it would have made a difference, but it would have been our next draw. That's a bummer. Okay, so this is what we're doing with the deck. Let's get this popped over on the left. There we go. So each non-ore enchantment is a creature in addition to its other types, and its base power and toughness equal to its mana value. So let's say we get Opulence out there. That's going to turn all of our creatures into, we've got a 5/5, we've got a 5/5, we've got a 5/5. You know, as they get more and more zombies on the battlefield, oh, that's a bummer. We shouldn't have looked. But anyway, you know, that's kind of the win condition for the deck. Get the card draw going, drop this in there, turn all of your enchantments into some weird 90s looking people, and you're good to go. So, but anyways, definitely a good game. You know, Negan, Mardu really grinded this game out. You know, simply just making copies of Negan to make sure we can't keep creatures on the battlefield. And the Overwhelming Splendor, that's what sealed the deal. You know, if they don't get that Overwhelming Splendor in their deck out there, then we just take off from card value. But they did, and we just didn't have. We do have some non-enchantment removal in here. activated enchantment, something like Nature's Claim and different things, but unfortunately we didn't run into it. But the Overwhelming Splendor basically countered our Ghostly Prison and our Sphere of Safety effect because we couldn't get our card advantage going. But anyway, super close. Hopefully we can get a win in the future. But anyways, if you enjoyed the game, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.